You might be surprised by what your favorite character says about you. I mean, this is definitely not a scientific personality test, but the thing is that we've been watching SpongeBob our whole lives. This show basically defined a whole generation's humor and meme culture. We absorbed the humor like the yellow sponge himself, and that's exactly why I made this video. Your favorite character could easily explain how you enjoy SpongeBob as a show just because how much we mirror their individual jokes. However, considering the number of unique characters in Bikini Bottom, I just know this list is going to become unhinged. Some of you will have boring, normal picks. Meanwhile, some of you are likely to favor the more obscure characters in the show, which might explain some obscure stuff about you, too. If SpongeBob is your favorite, then congratulations for joining the majority of the fans here. It also means you're optimistic, caring, and kind to those around you. Truly a man of the people. Just kidding. What it really means is that you're a stubborn and energetic person. And yeah, you're likely to be a man of many talents as well. Frying burgers, jellyfishing, karate, maybe even some bubble blowing. But let's keep it real. Your kindness comes with side effects. Because you're so unapologetically kind and caring for others, to the point that people will be dependent on you, or see you as the obnoxiously loud one who loves to interfere with people's affairs. Still, no matter how people see you, you already make up for it. In fact, you might enjoy watching SpongeBob as a reminder that being kind is not a weakness. It's a skill that most people fail at on a daily basis. What I really mean is, you're living for the whole ride, guys. Whether it's a dreadful 12-hour shift on a rainy day, or the best day of your life, you're ready to have fun and to make sure everyone else is too.
I'm ready! I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
Or you're none of that, and you just love SpongeBob because he is the person you always aspire to be but never could, which is tragic, but also relatable. So you're welcome. But here's the thing. You don't have to be eternally happy like SpongeBob to enjoy life. Sometimes you can be happy just by caring less and less, like Patrick. Patrick fans, you guys love surprises. That's not even a secret. And what better way to be surprised than to expect absolutely nothing?
That makes sense to me.
It also means you like SpongeBob best when it feels unpredictable. The weirder the episode gets, the more funny you find it. You might be considered the best mates to hang out with. Zero shame for being weird, and somehow you make life feel less serious just by existing. That's why even when you're a menace, people still invite you out. The only warning I could give you is that if Patrick is your favorite in a hardcore way, you might be attracted to chaos more than you'd like to admit. Like, maybe you don't want a purely peaceful life. You want peace with a little bit of property damage here and there. If anything, friendship is always more important than knowledge as far as you're concerned. Well, as long as you're not being a jerk like Season 8 Patrick, then we gotta talk. But maybe you're not the type who thinks life always has to be happy. Maybe you prefer it with a little misery to spice things up. If that's the case, then look no further than Squidward Q Tentacles. Squidward is the bitter adult life that, unfortunately, we're all too familiar with. Most of us can feel Squidward's pain to some extent, which is why I don't think most of us favored Squidward as a kid. When you're young, Squidward just looks like a hater. In contrast to the rest of the neighbors on Conch Street, he's more pessimistic and cynical than you'd like to admit. That said, in moderation, that could be a healthier way of life. Every chaotic friend group needs a Squidward to keep them in check. And don't get me wrong, Squidward has had an enormous number of brilliant lines since day one. You could love him purely for the sarcasm alone.
I burn it and let it swim. We serve food here, sir.
But I'm willing to bet most of you started appreciating Squidward more the older you got. Like, you start to understand his pain, how unfair the reality is for him sometimes, and how easy it is to become like him if you put yourself in his tentacles. And that results in this weird, relatable friend bond, you know? Like, I get why you're thinking like that, therefore, you're my guy.
Too bad that didn't kill me.
At least, that's what it feels like to me. Then again, you might like him because you're just a cynical mind that loves to hang around a bunch of crazy-ass friends. You like being the straight man in a clown universe. It's a lifestyle after all. Also, even if Squidward pretends he has no soul left, at the end of the day, he still sticks up for people when it counts, which is a pretty noble thing to do. But if you think the life of Squidward is already depressing, then you don't even know the half of it. Just take a look at the life of Mrs. Puff. If Mrs. Puff is your favorite, then I'm kinda concerned for you, not gonna lie. I'm not saying you need help now, it's just that her whole character is a very weird mix of patience and panic.
SpongeBob!
So, if she's your favorite, you might be constantly stressed out in life. But at the same time, you're not really avoiding the source of your stress because you think you could still change it. Does that sound like you're stuck in a toxic relationship? Anyway, if anything, you know very well how to laugh through the stress. You're pretty darn determined. You're always willing to help others out, and you take your job very seriously. Fortunately for you, you guys are very familiar with the concept of survival, since you're on edge most of the time. So yeah, Mrs. Puff fans, it might be good to seek some help from others before you, too, become Mrs. Puff. But as bad as her life sounds, morally speaking, being Mrs. Puff is still better than being the source of other people's misery, like Eugene Krabs. Let's be real. If your favorite character is Mr. Krabs, then everything could be summed up in one sentence.
Hello, I like money.
When it comes to Krabs, I think it's kind of a love him or absolutely hate him situation. He's a cheap old man, however you look at him, and depending on the weather, he might let you loose after only squeezing a few dollars from your pocket. However, that doesn't make him a straight-up evil person, in my opinion. As nasty as Krabs' business practices can be, he's still willing to guide some young souls, like SpongeBob and Squidward, to be better people, as long as it doesn't cost him anything in the process. But hey, maybe it just means you're a good businessman like Krabs is. You know where the money is and how to move it to your pocket. To some extent, you're an opportunist. More than anything, there's a strong chance that you're a family-oriented person. After all, there's no better treasure than a good family. So if you're a fan of Mr. Krabs, you've probably got a dark sense of humor. You enjoy SpongeBob as satire more than just silly stories. You want the show to roast how messed up the real world is, especially when it comes to work culture. You're a proper working adult, right? And just like any normal adult in real life, who doesn't love a bit of rivalry to spice up your life? Someone like Plankton is a must to have in your friend circle to keep pushing you forward. Diabolical and genius. That's who you are. If Plankton is your favorite, you probably have a soft spot for losers with ambition. Because Plankton is a villain, yes, but he's also the underdog who refuses to stop playing the game. He's surprisingly a pretty consistent character, still the same tiny man yelling at the universe season after season. That sheer persistence alone is enough reason to choose Plankton as your favorite character. It also means you don't watch SpongeBob just to see Krabs win over and over again. You watch it for the love of the rivalry and the comedy of someone being intelligent enough to build death machines, but not intelligent enough to develop a taste bud. However, you might want to watch how far you're mirroring Plankton in real life. Definitely don't become the edgy genius who thinks the world just misunderstands you. But, it's just a phase. You'll grow out of it. And if there's anything Plankton's story proves, it's that a match made in heaven is real, because he found Karen. Okay, first of all, he didn't meet Karen like a normal person. He fell in love with CCTV Karen before she was even Karen. Yes, Plankton is a freak, we know. So if Karen is your favorite, you're probably the only adult in the room type, but with a spine and a sense of humor. On second thought, I don't really know what to say about you Karen fans out there. You guys might actually be tech-savvy people. You like tinkering with computers and stuff enough to appreciate all the tech jokes. Or if you're a married woman, then you probably have a childish husband like Plankton. And girls, do you love to call out your man day in and day out for it? Because you really just enjoy being dry, sarcastic support characters for your man, even though it's you who secretly carries the whole operation. Or you could be a feminist, since Plankton doesn't really treat Karen with the respect she deserves. I don't know. Speaking of which, do you know who's also a dynamic duo in an awkward relationship? Yes, our senile superheroes, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. you really can't have one without the other. Mermaid Man is borderline senile, forgetful, and somehow still ambitious enough to fight evil, whereas Barnacle Boy is a bit more straightforward and old school, and just wants to enjoy his retirement in peace, and be respected as an adult, of course.
How is that adult-sized Krabby Patty treating you, Barnacle Man?
If these guys are your favorite, you're not alone. The moment they show up, you just know it's going to be a good episode. You might like them because you enjoy superhero comics in general, like Marvel. So you love SpongeBob's parody, or you might just genuinely like old people.
Old people are the greatest. They're full of wisdom and experience.
Or perhaps you're just the older guy in your friend group. You don't need to be in every hangout to be appreciated. Just gotta join the kids and spit out some wisdom once in a while, right? There are no really bad traits from you guys, except from maybe the back pain and some of your gray hair. Also, real respect to their voice actors. May both of these legends, Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway, rest in peace. Up next is a really interesting character, to say the least. Bubble Bass. Honestly, Bubble Bass is absurdly memorable for a side character, especially because of the Pickles debut.
Look! He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time.
And there's the pickles from last time, too!
Bubble Bass fans enjoy some good satire, for sure. You like SpongeBob when it's roasting annoying customers, neckbeards, and that specific type of person. We deal with irritating people all the time, and sometimes you just gotta vent about it. Sadly, he literally only appeared in 3 episodes in season 1, then straight up disappeared from the show before making a comeback like nothing happened and became Squidward's new best friend. We can thank modern seasons for making him weirdly frequent. So if you like Bubble Bass, you probably appreciate the Bikini Bottom NPC world building too. The idea that the town has recurring weirdos. But maybe you're that person too. A long-lost childhood friend who was just catching up and now is back to become best friends again. Good for you. Speaking of making a comeback, that reminds me of another person with a similar Squilliam Fancyson, a man of finer taste indeed, which is something rare in this city. Squilliam is a handsome, rich, talented artist blessed with a muscular body. He's just that perfect. And depending on how much you believe the SpongeBob conspiracy, he might just be Squidward's long-lost cousin. So does that make you perfect too if you're a fan of Squilliam? No. It actually means you're a jerk who loves to flex your success in front of an underpaid fast food cashier, and you find joy in stepping on others even more than you love your own eyebrow. In other words, screw you. Just kidding. You guys just love rivalry banter, that's all. Now, I think after some safe picks here, we're stepping into the trickier ones, which, coincidentally, both are the rare mammals in Bikini Bottom, one of them being the biggest mystery in the 7 seas, pearl crabs. Similar to Bubble Bass, I don't think she has a big fan base, but Pearl, nonetheless, has her own cult following just like anyone else. If Pearl is your favorite, you probably relate to one of 2 realities. Either you were a spoiled child, or you had a parent who cared more about money than you. Depending on which era of SpongeBob we're talking about, Pearl can be sweet, bratty, insecure, or just a walking reminder that Mr. Krabs is somehow still a role model as a single father. In any case, you're a confident person who knows exactly what you want and when you want it. I can only hope you're not the bratty teenager she is in the modern seasons. You also enjoy SpongeBob when it dips into family dynamics, and not everything has to be a Krusty Krab plot. Or maybe you just like her for the mysteries. Well, I don't blame you. Pearl has brought us some of the biggest cases to solve as far as this channel goes, which, weirdly enough, could also be said about the next mammal on this list, Sandy Cheeks. Right off the bat, she's the smartest and toughest critter in Bikini Bottom. Sandy is probably your favorite because you love power. Brain power, muscle power, money power, anything. Or maybe you're just a fellow Texan rooting for the homegirl. At the very least, you enjoy SpongeBob most when it feels like an adventure. Training arcs, science nonsense, karate competitions, all sorts of stuff. Be it an over-energetic sponge or massive Alaskan bullworms, you don't take kindly to people who keep you from your goals. You do, however, take kindly to the ones who support you. There's nobody better to have as a friend, and nobody more terrifying to have as an enemy. In short, You're just built differently. But while you may be the strongest critter in Bikini Bottom, you're not the only one who can do some heavy lifting. Enter Larry the lobster. You're just a gym bro, don't lie. You're a bit more level-headed than Sandy. Instead of, I must prove myself, you're more like, I'm just trying to enjoy my life and look good doing it. You just want to lift some weights and have a good time. You love being surrounded by the boys at the beach, doing whatever stuff you find fancy. Mostly competitive sports though. Self-gratification comes first for you. You live by your own set of rules, and there's no better person than you when it comes to living your life to the fullest. In fact, maybe live like Larry is your mantra in real life as well, which means you're either thriving or you're one minor inconvenience from becoming Squidward. There's no in between. Speaking of mantras, for those who love to curse others more than you like to admit, you might like The Flying Dutchman. Let me guess. Your favorite movie genre is horror, your favorite holiday is Halloween, and your favorite SpongeBob episode is Shanghai. Yeah, you guys love supernatural things in this show. I mean, it's always a treat to have a Flying Dutchman in the show. There's just this unparalleled force of magic we never get to see from any other character in the show, which might just make him the strongest character aside from Neptune. You also have an eye for unique aesthetics, because the Dutchman has by far one of the coolest character designs in SpongeBob. And I'm willing to bet you might also have a favorite sock. Just make sure to wash it regularly and not have the hygiene of a pirate, okay? Because as weird as this might sound, even a mollusk like Gary has better hygiene than you. Oh, if you love Gary, then you're a simple person. You're a pet person. And what it says about you as a viewer is actually really wholesome. You enjoy SpongeBob when it shows unconditional affection. No matter how nasty and troublesome your pets are, you're always going to find a reason to dote on them. Although, if you've liked Gary since the old days, you might just be eager enough to train your pet to be as knowledgeable as Gary. But one thing's for sure, you have impeccable taste and have chosen the cutest character in the show. While every other character in the series has some flaws, Gary is just perfect. And for this reason, both he and his fans reign supreme. There's a reason he's the rightful king of Bikini Bottom, after all. Now, before we get to possibly the best character in the show, I have to shout out the honorable mentions, because I know some of you are built differently, and your favorite character is some random civilian who appears for 7 seconds and steals the whole episode. If you love SpongeBob, then you also have a soft spot for his pencil demon counterpart, too. You just love chaos. Evil chaos, to be precise. Also, you probably have an inner voice that wants to fight a better version of you out of pure jealousy. Respectfully, that's insane. Whereas if you like Fred, then you either love the running gag or you have a recurring injury in your knees. But hey, your best trait is that you don't let the injury stop you. Because unlike SpongeBob, who refuses to go outside after shattering his bum, you always find a way to keep working to provide for your family, which makes you a real man. Or woman. Bubble Buddy fans are just endearing people. That's it. He's a cute bubble, he's a good buddy, yeah, what's not to like? And what it says about you as a viewer is pretty simple. You like sweetness that shows up at the right moment. You're more reserved, you don't talk too much, but whenever your friends need you, they can always count on you. Another dynamic duo from Bikini Bottom, the eternal rival to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, which makes them equally senior characters in the show. Man Ray fans, listen. Man Ray is iconic, okay? But if he's your favorite, well, I'm afraid you're just evil if you like them that much. You love to harass teenagers, you've got anger issues, and you probably want to watch the world burn. That's it for our honorable mentions, and I can't wait any longer to tell you my favorite character, objectively, is the best character in Bikini Bottom. And if the fact that I made him the profile picture for this channel isn't obvious enough, it's Tom. Oh my god, where do I even start? He has an iron bum, he has some serious anger issues, and of course, the best of all, Tom loves chocolate as much as I do.
Chocolate!
For a character that counts as incidental, it's insane how many memorable crash-out moments he gave us in the first 3 seasons alone. Tom is basically proof that SpongeBob's world building is cracked. Any background character could steal the spotlight at any time. I mean, come on, he's just the best, without question. So if Tom's your favorite character, just like me, that means you're a person of refined taste. You appreciate classic memes, classic quotes, and the kind of SpongeBob humor that feels timeless instead of era-dependent. Which honestly, there's no better way to enjoy SpongeBob than that. So, now that we're at the end, I want to throw it back to you. Who's your favorite SpongeBob character? And has it changed as you got older? Because if you used to be a SpongeBob kid, but you're slowly turning into a Squidward adult, welcome to the club. Rent's due on the 1st. And also, quick side note, if you picked Pearl as your favorite, or if you were sitting there the whole time like, bro, you didn't talk enough about her, don't worry, I got you. I made a whole video diving into the weird, charming contradiction that is Pearl, and how her character basically creates a paradox the show never fully explains. It's called The Episode That Solves Pearl's Paradox. Go watch that next if you want a deeper character detective breakdown instead of a personality roast. I'll see you on the next dive.